Sorry for that cutoff, guys. I had to do that. I was interrupted for a brief moment. So for this, I'm going to have to flip that mirror. On the outside by my So Others May Live patches is where I left off. I have the Bear Grylls Tinder Maker. It's a magnifying lens for starting fires. And you take this off. It's basically the face of a wood rasp, and you can scrape hardwood and softwood. I prefer softwood. Easier. And it produces sparkable tinder, and it's stored inside there. Don't make the fire inside. It came with like 12 warnings on a paper saying don't make a fire inside it. It's not designed for that, etc., etc., but it's a tinder holder, essentially, as well as a maker, and there's a mirror on the other side. I do have a signal mirror, so I don't really need that, but it's there. It says it right there. This was in my last Bug Out Bag video. Magbar, Bic, lighter, tinder, matches, and strikers in an Altoids tin, which I will use to hold tinder when I'm done. Sealed with electrical tape, which also burns. The adhesive on it is flammable, so it makes kindling. Burns for several minutes, actually. Duct tape also, but electrical tape burns better. Waterproof fire starter, the striker. The Coglins actually are fantastic. This little fire steel right here I got for $15, overpaid from firesteel.com. And then the Coglins one I got for $5, which is twice as large and a little bit longer and produces the same sparks. What matters, though, is your striker. The little Coglin striker that came with it is horrible. Firesteel.com striker is fantastic. So, if anything, I'm not complaining because I got a fantastic striker for $15, and it produces massive sparks, so I am not in a position to complain. Again, this was also my Bug Out Bag video. It's jumbo cotton balls stuffed inside a candy case. That is waterproof. I actually did submerge it to test it. It's very nice in that respect. And again, I can hold tinder in there. You must gather tinder. You can't just use it up. In a match case, again, with... Yeah, I'm not getting that open one-handed. Note to self, can't do that one-handed. Cotton balls, more cotton balls. That's what is in there. Though it feels shaking around, I know it was matches. Irrigation syringe, again, we're getting down to my medical gear. This is a sterile irrigation syringe, hence the packaging. You must clean out wounds when you're outdoors, otherwise they will turn very nasty very fast. In this little side pocket here are my changes of the batteries. I'll have to waterproof that soon. And in here is the main medical kit. It's medical tape, my roller bandage, the spare pre-made sandwich, the other one I mentioned, I just stuffed it in there for outside access. My skin closing kits, skin staples and sutures, both butterfly strips as well as actual sutures and hemostats. Cling gauze and a few other things. In there I have medication. It's 81 milligram aspirin tablets for heart attacks, acetaminophen, which is Tylenol, just a painkiller, ibuprofen, which you guys know is non-aspirin probably, and some flu medication, high blood pressure stuff, as well as amoxicillin, which, by the way, was prescribed to me. I kept it because I kept the course of antibiotics. I got so much better afterward, and I still had 3 pills left. I kept it, which is perfectly legal as long as I do not give it to someone else and I do not sell it. So, legally, I keep my own antibiotics there. You can also buy your own from fish shops and such, which I have done, but I decided just to keep mine. Duct tape, a Gorilla Tape handy roll. Cordage, white, so it's more visible. Some cordage should be visible, some should be camouflaged. Water filtration, it's a Sawyer filter right in there. And also an Aquamira Part A-B. It's an acid and an indicator. So chemical and filter water purification. So I can do 2-stage or 1-stage depending on how stagnant I detect the water to be. Which in some places the water's pretty clean, in some places it is, worse than Mexican tap water. Knife sharpener, this thing looks like a piece of junk, but actually it's brought back more than a few blades that I thought were irreparable, so I'm very impressed by it. It was another Christmas gift. Waterproof fire starter, there's a little, it's a red case, so it's one-handed striker, wet fire, stormproof matches. Waxed string, which is sewing thread, which I can use for just about anything, especially leather working. If you like to do projects like that, wax string is your friend. Also, very famous appearance in my last Bug Out Bag video. 7 heavy-duty cable snares. Locking. Legal in my state, not in others, but I always get my permit and such. Again, it's not worth prepping if you're going to have to break the law. It's not worth it at that point. So those are my locking snares that I practice with. They will catch all medium and some large game if you lay them carefully. So don't be relying on paracord for your snares when you can do better, because a dying animal will struggle to save its life. Another Christmas gift, a Gerber Moment 2 field dressing kit. Now I'm getting into deer hunting. I've never really done much deer hunting or large game hunting, only small game. So you really only need shears for that. So it's a small little bone saw and a small, you can see the outline there, I don't even need to take them out. It's a 2-part kit, it's about 30 bucks. It's actually fantastic, and it folds in half like that. It's very compact. So that's a bone saw. Technically speaking, you only need a knife, but a bone saw is very, very helpful for larger game, so you don't dull your knife. I went over this in my last bug out bag video also, in a Coghlan's organizer bag. Again, I'll do that without shaking the camera. In it, I have 2 sets of spider wire, a new stove, which is simply a sterno stove from Walmart, but I ripped out the spot where you would, using a hacksaw, I ripped off the spot where you would insert the sterno can so I can just fit wood in there. Spider wire, fish hooks in Altoids tins, all waterproofed, and a very important guide, edible plants of the eastern woodlands. Always useful. Big thing, also slingshot ammunition there, gut line and everything. If you are not foraging, fishing, hunting, and trapping, you're doing only one thing, and that's starving. If you are truly, truly trying to survive, you will have to employ all 4 methods actively. Trapping is passive, fishing can be active or passive, hunting is active, foraging is active. You can be doing all 4 at once, I promise. And that's what you should be doing if you truly want to eat that day or the next. Because again, you really can't go 3 weeks without food. That's more of a myth. You might be able to survive, especially if you have some fat reserves, but after 3 or 4 days with food, as I always say, you will be so lethargic you won't know what to do, and you won't have the strength to do it even if you did. So it's very important that I have a food-heavy bag. All right, I'm a skinny guy. I don't have a lot of fat on me. So it's very important that I carry that. And what fat I do have will likely be burned up transporting all this. So let's be honest here, folks. I would die very easily in that regard. Also in the bottom, Strike Force fire starter. Carries tinder, big sparks. Can be used one-handed. Don't be a blast match fanboy. You know, whatever works, I don't mind, but don't bust on my stuff. And in here, there's also more fire-making stuff in a notepad, directions and maps, which I won't show. Moving this aside, we get to what's inside the main compartment of the bag. Food has been upgraded, a little bit more food. This bag weighs probably about 5 pounds, so it's not a whole lot, but it is a lot of food. 3 pounds of beef jerky, that's going to be the first thing to go because I am not lugging that around for 20 miles a day. Also first to go, survival rations. This is technically speaking, a 6-day supply complete. I could easily push that to 7, 8, 9 days. Again, maybe about a week between these two, minimalized. 2 skivvy rolls. It is a pair of socks wrapped with a t-shirt and underwear, which I added. You can Google how to make a skivvy roll. It takes about a minute, 90 seconds to learn or so. So I don't need to do a video here. There are plenty of good ones on YouTube that'd simply be redundant. Aluminum cooking pan. Smaller eating dish with split shot. Spare split shot. Coghlan's waterproof matches. Oh, that's busted. I'm going to get that. No, this is new. It's a food scraper. I got it. It's a hard plastic as well as soft rubber for getting all your stuff out, rather than a Brillo pad. IDF food purification tabs or water purification tabs. Just the cheapest on Amazon. A can opener, matches, and more matches. Nothing really to say there. Fishing bobbers. You can carry balloons, which are much more compact, but eventually they either pop or deflate and won't inflate again, so I have these. Albacore tuna, 3 packages, and again at the bottom, just like in my last video, which I did not change, shampoo, conditioner, and toothpaste all in one, antibacterial. Use it for everything. I do. It does work, and I'm not one to believe in that hippie nature stuff all the time, but nature has evolved to keep itself alive. And by that extension, it has evolved to keep you alive. So you can't always discount that stuff. Especially considering generations before us survived a lot longer without it. Okay. That's about does it, guys. There's not much else to say. Again, to add would be a sleeping bag and probably a Snugpak jungle blanket. It'll be heavy, but I live in an area where it's cold. Shelter, I'm taking shelter ideas. I need a shelter. I'm thinking just a bivy bag and maybe goal zero. So if you guys have any ideas, by all means submit. I'm always listening. Have a good Christmas and I guess happy holidays, guys.